Welcome back to Aikido Fit Life. My name is Kevin, I'm your host. This is my friend Kyle, and today we are going to look at some traditional Aikido techniques but applied in a more modern way. Kyle had some information for you, a disclaimer.
Just number one, this is not a real AR-15. We're using a fake one for demonstration purposes. Don't go home trying this with a real rifle and accidentally shoot yourself or your friend. If you have a fake one to use, that's great, but be careful, don't do anything dumb. Every law enforcement agency that I know of is teaching people three things in civilian response to active shooter. Number one, run. If you cannot run, hide. If you cannot hide, lastly, fight. That's absolute last resort. Remember, you're fighting somebody that's got a weapon, and that gives them a huge advantage. But we're going to deal with the fighting part of that.
We're going to look at some traditional Aikido techniques applied not in a fist fight, not in a traditional weapons manner, but a traditional application. So we're going to look at Aikido first. The idea that I want you to think about is not where he's just standing here in front of me, pointing a gun at me, and I'm standing in front of him trying to take a rifle away from him. The idea that I want you to think about is if you find yourself somewhere where there is an active shooter not pointing at you. Like right now I'm behind him, off to the side. You may not know I'm here, he just starts shooting, and then we can approach. So from the very beginning, we don't want to be the person directly in front. So to look at Ikkyo Omote, if the shooter is here, I want to come up, angled from kind of beside and behind him, take his front hand, while I'm sweeping in here, take his front hand, raise it up as I take his elbow, and I'm going to drive it into his ear as I take the weapon. So it's a circular motion. As this comes up, I'm driving it up. This hand is going to make a circle. As I come up, and I sweep the weapon back. So I'm making a circle. I'm stepping in, and I'm stepping back out. For this angle, I'm coming in close to him, behind his line of sight. And I'm taking the front, and on my way in, I'm coming up and grabbing this elbow as I turn, and then moving back from the way that I came and taking the gun.
I didn't see you coming.
So for Ikkyo Ura, it's very similar. I'm going to come in the same way, and as I step here, I'm taking this elbow up, and then I step back and still sweep that arm. So now we're going to look at Ude Kiminage. And Ude Kiminage, for the traditional technique, has this arm extended, and we come under here as we step through and roll and throw the person. Ideally, in class, we get the armpit so that it just kind of rolls them forward. But in reality, we want to attack the elbow sideways so that when we extend, it kind of moves their elbow. So, for this technique here, what we want to look at is when he's holding the rifle, this arm is already extended. All I have to do is move it as I step in. So I would come up from this side, same idea, coming in from behind, take the arm with this hand as I reach through. I'm hitting the handle and his wrist. Like so I'm pushing the gun through. And then as I step, I'm taking the gun. What I want to make sure that I do in all of these techniques is make sure not to muzzle myself with the gun. I want to make sure that as I take this, it's to the outside of me. So he can't shoot me. So the last one we're going to look at is Shionage. And when I come in for Shionage, I need this hand, I need this wrist. So what I'm going to do is come up his elbow, rolling this down. When you're training, be careful with this, because this is going to hit him in the face. So as I come up and rotate this, the butt of the gun is going to rake up his face right there.
Yep.
And then as I come through real hard, it's going to hit him in the head, and then I have the gun. So I'm walking through, I'm rolling this, I'm keeping my hands in front of my center, and I'm rolling up his shoulder here, so that when I walk through, it pushes him away from me. I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope it's helpful. Once again, don't try this with a loaded gun at home. And all of these techniques depend on surprise and explosiveness. I mean, you're not going to walk up and tap the shooter and say, hey, I'm going to do this to you now. You have to run up from behind and hit them hard, much harder than we did in this video. This is an instructional video. Not trying to break his arms or slam his head to the floor. But this depends on everything being very explosive and fast and hard. So train carefully. Once again, we are not advocating that you just run up to people and try to take guns away from people. Run away first, hide, and last resort, fight. When you have no other choice. Is there anything you'd like to add?
That covers it.
All right.
Be safe.
Thanks for coming out. Thank you for watching. Please tell all your friends to subscribe to Aikido Fit Life and subscribe yourself if you're not already. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.